Hello, everyone. Board Game Lawyer here. It's Wednesday evening in the month of June, and it has already reached 100 degrees outside. So I'm looking forward to being indoors tonight in the air conditioning, playing a nice, relaxed game of Marvel Champions, a game from Fantasy Flight Games. And so tonight, I would love nothing more than to walk out the back door and take a dip in the ocean. But unfortunately, here in the Midwest, I'm about 1,000 miles away from the ocean. And so I'm going to bring the beach to me tonight. We're going to be playing against the Sandman. We're going to be playing Standard Sandman tonight. First time I've recorded him. And so he has a scheme of one, an attack of two. He has a sandblast ability, which is a forced interrupt. When Sandman attacks you, that attack deals indirect damage. If your identity takes any amount of damage from that attack, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets. And so we have the city streets environment out here into play. We brought that into play because of our main scheme. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But Sandman in standard form begins the game with 16 hit points, and we've got those set up on his dial there. So let's take a look at our main scheme. So our contents for Hapless Pedestrians says to include the Sandman cards, the City in Chaos, and a standard encounter set, and one modular encounter set, which is Down to Earth. We've included all of those in my deck today. It says that during the setup to search the encounter deck for the City Streets environment and to put it into play and place 4 sand counters on it. So here's our City Streets environment. It says Surging Sands Special. Place 1 sand counter here. Discard cards on the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of sand counters here. Hero action. Exhaust a character you control. Remove sand counters from here equal to that character's attack. Limit once per round per player. So remove sand counters here equal to that character's attack. So it's not an attack. It's just exhaust a character you control to remove sand counters from here. So that's good to remember. Okay, so we place 4 counters onto city streets to begin the game. We'll flip over to our B side of our main scheme, and it reads, Force response. After an acceleration token is placed on the scheme, deal 3 indirect damage to the first player. If the stage is completed, the players lose the game. It starts with 2 threat on it, and it has a low threat threshold of 9. And so not much threat will cause us to lose the game. Shades of the old Rhino is what it kind of feels like. All right, so the hero that I've decided to use today is from the core set. He is Iron Man, and Iron Man has a thwart of 2, an attack of 1, a defense of 1, and he's an Avenger who says that I get +1 hand size for each tech upgrade that I control to a maximum hand size of 7. So that sounds great, right? We get +1 hand size for each tech upgrade, but look at the hand size down there at the bottom of the card. He starts with he draws a hand size of 1 if he has no tech upgrades, and his hit points is only set at 9. So he has a low hit point threshold. So let's flip over to our Tony Stark side and see what he can do. So he is a genius who is also a futurist. He can take an action, which is a look at the top 3 cards of our deck, add 1 to our hand, and discard the others, and we can do this a limit of once per round. So he has a hand size of 6 to begin the game. So I'll go ahead and just give my encounter deck a quick shuffle. I've shuffled this up already quite a bit, but we'll just give it another quick shuffle. We'll do the same thing with our hero deck, Tony Stark's deck, and then we'll get started. Get me a drink. Icy cold lemonade is great on a night like this. And we're just going to play a relaxed game tonight. See what happens. So we're going to draw our 6 cards. So our first card is Melee. Next is Ingenuity. That's a good card to get early in the game. Works well with Tony Stark. Also, we draw Moon Girl. Ooh, that's another good card to have here at the beginning of the game. As well as the Hand Cannon. And we draw Hone Technique. And we also draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, and that is another hand cannon. So I for sure want to keep at least 3 mental resources to play. So because Moon Girl, take a look at her text. It says play only if your identity has the champion or genius trait. Well, we're a genius when we're Tony Stark. Response: after you play Moon Girl from your hand, draw 1 card for each mental resource used to pay for her. So I think we'll keep we'll keep melee, and we'll keep hone technique, and we'll need a couple of cards to put out ingenuity to get that third mental resource. So I think we'll. I hate to discard both of my hand cannons early on for as part of my. I hate to do that as part of my mulligan, because these are tech upgrades that work well with Tony Stark. But I think we're going to discard those for now to see what else we can get. Maybe we can get some double resources to put some goods out. So let's see what we get. So we'll draw 2 more cards. We draw Repulsor Blast, and we draw Energy. Well, we got an Energy card. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll go ahead and use Tony Stark's Futurist ability. So he has that look at the top 3 cards of my deck, which is Machine Man and Genius and Rocket Boots. So I think we'll keep the Genius card, because that gives us more resources that we can use. Yep, I like that a lot. So we'll put that ingenuity on the table using that energy card, 2 resources. And then with our ingenuity and our genius card, we'll put out Moon Girl. So there's 3 resources, mental resources, that we're using to put out Moon Girl. Advantage Moon Girl, again, is after you play Moon Girl from your hand, draw 1 card for each mental resource used to pay for her. So we draw 3 cards. So we have our Mark V helmet. We also have the Strength card. And we draw Assess the Situation. Those are nice as well. So we have 2 resources we could use. We need 2 to put out Hone Technique. We need 2 mental resources. So there's 2. Melee and Assess the Situation. We also have to pay 1 more, which would be the Repulsor Blast. But that would be enough to put out that Hone Technique. And I think I'll put Hone Technique out. It's an upgrade. It's not a tech upgrade. It's a skill. But I can use it with cards later on to do, hopefully, some pretty decent damage. So the Repulsor Blast, Assess the Situation, and Melee. Used to put out Hone Technique. And then I've got the Mark V helmet and the Strength card. I think I'll just hang on to those. It doesn't make any sense to spend 2 resources on the Mark V helmet when I'll be drawing more cards at the end of this turn. So we'll just hang on to Strength. We'll hang on to our Mark V helmet for now. We're just trying to build our board state, and because we put Moon Girl out here, that's going to help us out tremendously in order to do that. So Moon Girl is going to remove 2 threat from hapless pedestrians, which brings it down to 0. But it does require us to put 2 damage onto Moon Girl, which I'm not a big fan of 2 consequential damage on Moon Girl. But we've got our Mark V helmet, our Strength. We'll ready our Ingenuity, Hone Technique, and Moon Girl. And we'll draw 4 more cards. So we have the Snow Guard. I like the Snow Guard. We also have Dive Bomb. Wow. Dive Bomb. Got the Dive Bomb with the Hone Technique on the table already. And we draw Fusillade and another one, Fusillade. So there's our hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards going into our next turn. So we place 1 threat on hapless pedestrians. Sandman's going to scheme. He's going to do so for 1. Plus 2 is 3. So hapless pedestrians is now up to 3. And we draw our encounter card, which is Shadows of the Past. Reveal your set-aside nemesis minion and put it into play. Engage with you. Reveal your set-aside nemesis side scheme and put it into play. Shuffle the rest into your deck. So already, right out of the gate, we've got Whiplash. Retaliate 1. After this character's attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. His side scheme says, when revealed, place 1 additional threat per player here. So it starts with 3 and adds an additional 1. So Imminent Overload. So 4 threat onto Imminent Overload. And here's our hand size, Snow Guard, Dive Bomb, Fusillade. Electric Whip Attack, and Electromagnetic Backlash is what we have to deal with. All right. So those 3 cards get shuffled into my encounter deck. Let's take a look and see how many boost icons are on each of those. They also have specials. Oof. All right. It's been a while since I pulled out Whiplash. I haven't played with much Whiplash. It just seems like whenever I play with Iron Man, Shadows of the Past always came out as a boost card. So Whiplash has got some retaliation. Let's see if we can't put a whipping on some Whiplash this turn. How's that sound? Shuffling my encounter deck right now because I got those cards I need to shuffle in. Again, I'm just trying to play a relaxed game tonight. It's been a really long, hot day. So that's the end of Sandman's turn. We do have my whole goal was to dive bomb somebody tonight, and the reason why is because Hone Technique, when you play an aggression attack event, if you paid for that event using a mental resource, increase the amount of damage that event deals by its printed cost. So look at that. We could dive bomb to hit Sandman for 11 and hit Whiplash for 5. That just sounds great. But we do have that Tony Stark futurist ability where we can draw cards. So let's draw some cards here. We draw Supersonic Punch. We have the Repulsor Blast. And we draw another Repulsor Blast. Which one of these do we want to keep? I don't know. I guess we'll keep a 1-cost attack. Deal 1 damage to an enemy and discard the top 5 cards of your deck for each printed energy resource discard. This way it would deal 2 additional damage to the enemy. We could do that. So we'll just bring that Repulsor Blast into our hand, discard our Supersonic Punch. As I can't get the aerial trait anyway. Oh, I don't have the aerial trait. Oof. Not good. Iron Man does not have the aerial trait until he gets his boots, so I can't do that dive bomb yet. Ooh. Oh, man, that... Whew. Maybe I want to keep the Supersonic Punch then. Well, you know what? The dive bomb still does 7 damage and then 1 to each other enemy. I don't think I can pull off... Yeah, I can do a Repulsor Blast on the Whiplash, knock him out. I don't have any weapons on the table either. This could be a terrible turn if I end up having to flip over to my... Ingenuity. Yeah, I can't do dive bomb at all because I have to have the aerial trait in order to pull it off. Have no weapons to do Fusillade, Repulsor Blast. Yeah, that's really bad. Not as good as I thought it was going to be. So I think first thing we'll do then is we'll bring out Snow Guard. It's going to cost me 4 for that. So we'll pay with a dive bomb, Fusillade, and the strength card to put out Snow Guard. Snow Guard has a response. After Snow Guard enters play, place up to 3 shift counters here. When the shift counters here are equal to X, she gets, if there's 1, if you choose to place 1, she gets +3 attack, and her attacks gain overkill. 2 +3 thwart and gains the aerial trait. 5 and gains retaliate of 1. So now we got to determine how we want to play Snow Guard. I think we'll do, yeah, spend those 4 resources to put Snow Guard out. And we're going to put 2 counters on Snow Guard so that she gets +3 thwart and gains the aerial trait. So we'll exhaust Snow Guard. Oops. To remove 3 threat from hapless pedestrians, or do we want to take it off of imminent overload? Load. Think about how I want to do this here. So she could do 3 damage, and then Moon Girl could do the rest. Flip to Tony Stark. I think we're going to end up flipping anyhow this turn. So I'll tell you what, we'll just do that to remove 3 threat off of imminent overload. Yep. That's what we're going to do. Imminent overload. Gets 3 off. We'll flip over to our Tony Stark side. We're going to put out that helmet, the Mark V helmet, using our ingenuity. And it says exhaust the Mark V helmet, remove 1 threat from a scheme or from each scheme if you have the aerial trait. So we'll just go ahead and do that 1 to remove that imminent overload. So that's gone at least. Then we'll play our Repulsor Blast. Deal 1 damage to an enemy and discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discard this way, deal 2 additional damage to that enemy. So we'll do it to Whiplash. Seems like a lot, but deal 1 damage to an enemy. Discard the, okay, so you deal 1 damage to an enemy. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discard this way, deal 2 additional damage to that enemy. So let's see what our top 5 cards are. So we have Ingenuity. There's 1 Arc Reactor. There's 2 Hulk. There's War Machine, who is a wild and has to be printed. So at least we knock out Whiplash using Iron Man. Yep, Whiplash is knocked down. So he's off the table. And then I think Iron Man is just going to remove some threat. He's going to remove 2 threat from the hapless pedestrians. And we'll ready Snow Guard. We'll leave Moon Girl out there for a moment. Iron Man's readied. Ingenuity. And the Mark V helmet. So now we only get to draw a hand size of 2. That's terrible to have to flip down that early, or flip over that early into our hero form, but that's what it's going to take. So we just draw 2 cards. We got Pepper Potts, and we have the power in all of us. Not a great hand. So we place 1 threat on hapless pedestrians. Sandman is going to attack for 2. I think we'll try to block. See if we can block some damage. So 2 defense, and we draw 0. So he blocks 1 damage, and we'll place the other damage, another damage onto Snow Guard. So it's indirect damage. None. I did not damage my identity did not take any amount of damage, so that's positive. Then we're going to draw a now or never card, peril. While you're resolving this card, other players cannot help. When revealed, choose place 1 acceleration token on the main scheme, or exhaust a character you control, and spend 1 resource of any type. So I guess we'll exhaust Moon Girl, and we'll spend a resource. And the resource that we'll spend is Pepper Potts. All right. Pepper is spent. So that will end Sandman's turn. And now we'll go into Iron Man's turn. So I have one card left to play with. So So Snow Guard is going to exhaust to remove 3 threat from hapless pedestrians. Consequential damage will knock out Snow Guard. We'll flip over to our Tony Stark side, and we'll draw 3 cards using his Futurist ability. So we draw Stark Tower, Lockjaw, and Melee. So we'll keep Stark Tower. We'll spend Ingenuity and the power in all of us to put out Stark Tower. And then with our Alter Ego action, we're going to exhaust Stark Tower, choose a player. That player returns the topmost tech upgrade in their discard pile to their hand. So the topmost tech upgrade is the Arc Reactor. That comes back into our hand, and we're going to hang on to that. We'll ready everything. And we'll draw up our hand size of 6. So we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have Assess the Situation, the Power in All of Us, Rocket Boots, the Mark V armor, and the Arc Reactor. We'll place 1 threat on hapless pedestrians to begin Sandman's turn. Sandman's going to scheme for 1. Plus 1 is 2. Which gives us a total of 3 threat on hapless pedestrians. And then we will draw our encounter card, which is Friends and Family. While in hero form, increase the resource cost of each event you play by 1. Alter Ego action, discard 1 identity-specific card from your hand and discard this obligation. Okay, so Friends and Family is on the table. And now it's my turn. So with that Stark Tower, I could exhaust Stark Tower to draw up the topmost tech. So that would be one way that we could get rid of Friends and Family. Discard 1 identity-specific card from your hand, discard this obligation. So if we were to discard Rocket Boots, that would send that to the discard pile. That gets rid of that obligation. Then we can exhaust Stark Tower to draw it back up into our hand. And then we will, with our Tony Stark Futurist ability, draw 3 cards. So we draw the Powered Gauntlets, Hone Technique, and another Powered Gauntlet. So we'll keep 2. We'll keep a Powered Gauntlet in our hand. We'll spend some resources to put out everything. So Ingenuity will allow us to put our Rocket Boots into play. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 resources we can use to put Powered Gauntlets and the Arc Reactor into play. So Powered Gauntlets and Arc Reactor comes into play. And that'll cost us 4 resources to do that. Moon Girl is going to remove 2 threat from hapless pedestrians, which will bring it back down to 1. Moon Girl is discarded because consequential damage will knock her out. And these are hero actions, all hero actions, hero action. I do get +1 hit point whenever I put out the Rocket Boots, so I go up to 10. And Tony Stark is sitting in pretty good shape now, so we're going to ready the Stark Tower. We're going to put Ingenuity over here with the Stark Tower. We'll have our helmet, our arc reactor, our gauntlets, hone technique, and our boots in play. And now I get to draw up a hand size of 6. I only got 1 card left in my deck, so I decked myself. And I'm going to have to deal myself 1 encounter card. So I draw Supersonic Punch, shuffle my deck, and draw 5 more cards. It was a pretty quick pass through my deck. But we do have the rocket boots now, so if we get an aerial card, and that Mark V helmet, and that power gauntlets, when we're in hero form, they do extra damage and remove extra threat, which is what we need in this scenario. We could really use that. Okay, so I shuffled my hero deck. Draw up a hand size of 6. So we have Ingenuity, Assess the Situation, Machine Man, Genius, and one more is War Machine. Exhaust War Machine, deal 2 damage to him, deal 1 damage to each enemy. Alright. 6 cards to go into my next turn, and it's Sandman's turn. So we place 1 threat onto Hapless Pedestrians. Sandman's going to scheme for 1, plus 2 is 3. So now he's up to 5, and I deal myself an additional encounter card this time, because I decked myself last time. So we have a Sand Smash. When revealed Alter Ego, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets. This card gains Surge. So we are in Alter Ego form. So we add 1 threat, or 1 counter, to city streets, and then we discard 5 cards. So we discard a Sand Clone, another Sand Clone, a Gang Up, an Assault, and Electromagnetic Backlash. So those 5 cards got discarded. Second encounter card is Tidal Sands. When revealed, place X additional threat here, where X is equal to the number of sand counters on city streets. It would deal us, it's a hazard, so it'll deal us an additional encounter card if we don't get rid of those Tidal Sands. And because we have 5 on the city streets, that's going to bring this up to 7. That's getting out of hand quickly. And 1 more, and it is a Sand Slide. When revealed, place 2 sand counters on city streets, then resolve its Surging Sands ability. If at least 1 Sandman card was discarded this way, you are stunned. So we place 2 sand counters on city streets. There's 2 more. And then we resolve its Surging Sands ability, which is to add another one. I'm going to have to start using some bigger counters to keep track of what's going on. And then it says if at least 1 Sandman card was discarded this way, you are stunned. I don't know how we can get around that. Let's see how many we got on here now. So there's 3 and 3. So we're going to have a total of 8 cards that we need to discard. All right, here they go. So the first one's an Assault. Next one's Threat or Menace. Dirt Trap, so we are stunned. There's Rhino, Sandform, Volunteer Work, Advance, and 1 more. Yep. 1 more is Sandform. Yeah. So we are stunned. And okay. All right then. Not good. Not good at all. That was a tough one. All right, so now it's Tony Stark's turn. He has the futurist ability. Let's draw some cards. So we draw Fusillade, we draw the Mark V armor, and we draw the Power in All of Us. I do think I would like to have that Mark V armor if I can afford it. Let me see if there's anything I need to spend those 2 resources on. I could put out Machine Man, and that would allow us to remove quite a bit of threat, actually. I think I'll do that. I think I'm going to put out, I think instead of putting out the Mark V armor just for now, which we can get it back, we'll hang on to the Power in All of Us, because then we can use that Stark Tower to get our Mark V armor back if we want to do that. And I think that's really what I want to do. So, Stark Tower gets us our Mark V armor back into our hand. And so with those 2 resources there, the Power in All of Us, we can put Machine Man out onto the table. So the Power in All of Us puts Mr. Machine Man out. And let's see what else we can get on the table. So we can get Supersonic Punch. Ingenuity is going to be a resource. War Machine. War Machine could be useful for the city streets. What if we did that? What if we put War Machine out? So we spend an Ingenuity and 2 resources and another Ingenuity to put out the War Machine. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So War Machine is going to exhaust to remove 2 counters from the surging sand, or from the city streets. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll use Machine Man with his 3 resources, Mark V armor and Supersonic Punch. That was a hero action, so I need to flip over to my Iron Man side in order to be able to use that hero action. Exhaust this character. Exhaust the character you control and remove counters. So that's what I needed to do, was be over in hero form in order for that to happen. So then Machine Man's going to use those 3 resources to add 3 to his threat removal. 4. Still not going to be able to get to it. The Tidal Sands. Yeah, I can do it because I've got my Mark V helmet. So he's going to remove 4 resources from Tidal Sands. And then Tony Stark, who is Iron Man, is going to remove 2 more from Tidal Sands. Then with his helmet, he's going to remove another threat from Tidal Sands. Yeah, so Tidal Sands is gone. And then the powered gauntlets can do a damage to Sandman. Sandman takes a hit. And then we'll ready Iron Man. Exhaust the arc reactor to ready Iron Man. And then Iron Man's going to remove 2 threat off of hapless pedestrians. You know what? He didn't do damage because he's stunned. So the stun card comes off instead of doing the 1 damage to Sandman. That'll be more advantageous in the long run, I'm sure. Okay, so we needed to place that one threat or one damage on Machine Man. We're going to ready Stark Tower and Ingenuity. Hone Technique is on the table. Machine Man has 1 damage on him. War Machine has no damage on him. Iron Man is readied. His Gauntlet is readied. His Arc Reactor is readied. His Rocket Boots and his Mark 5 helmet. So now he has 1, 2, 3, 4 tech on the table. And so he draws 5 cards. So it's getting a little bit better in the hero form. So we got Strength. We have Lockjaw, Fusillade, Supersonic Punch, and Hulk. All right, we have a Hulk. Placing 1 threat on Hapless Pedestrians. Sandman is going to attack for 2, plus 2 is 4. I could spread out the damage however I like. So we're going to put 3 onto War Machine and 1 onto Machine Man. All right. And then we will draw an encounter card. So our encounter card is Dirt Trap. When defeated, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets, and then resolve it again. It has a crisis icon, meaning I can't take anything off of here while that's on the table, but it only comes on the table with 1 threat. So I see the trap here. So it is a trap, but I need to remove those counters off of there before I take care of that dirt trap. That is what needs to take place. So, Iron Man's turn. I can go aerial. Do I want to? Is the question. Do I have any weapons that I can use for Fusillade? I don't. This is armor and tech. This is item tech, armor tech, armor tech. And we can't, let's see, this is a thwart, so we can't remove any threat off of Hapless Pedestrians while the dirt trap is on the table. I think we'll bring out Hulk, and we'll spend 2 resources, the strength card, to do that. So strength, Hulk is going to remove 3 counters from city streets. So these 3 here come off. And Supersonic Punch, deal 4 damage to an enemy, 8 instead if you have the aerial trait. I only have 1 enemy on the table, which is Sandman right now. So I could use that Supersonic Punch, but I'd have to first exhaust Ingenuity to give myself aerial with the Rocket Boots. So I think we will do that Supersonic Punch onto Sandman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage to him. And then Iron Man, because we have the we are aerial, so now we can do 2 more damage to Sandman. 1, 2, takes him down to 6. Exhaust, mark helmet, remove 1 threat from a scheme. From each scheme instead if you have the aerial trait. Do I want to get rid of the dirt trap? Get rid of the dirt trap. This both happen, I assume, at the same time, so I couldn't even remove any threat from over there. So I may just hang on for a moment. I may just give that a second. And in the meantime, we'll attack with Iron Man onto Sandman. So that'll do another damage to him. We'll ready Iron Man with our arc reactor. So he goes back up and does another damage to Sandman. Knocks him down to 4. And War Machine, we're going to hang on to War Machine for a moment. We'll hang on to Machine Man for a moment. We'll ready Ingenuity. We'll ready Iron Man. Ready Hulk. The rocket boots, the arc reactor, the powered gauntlets. And draw our hand size of 5. So we draw up the melee card, the repulsor blast, another melee card, hand cannon, and fusillade. Good cards. Place 1 threat on hapless pedestrians. Sandman's going to attack for 2, plus he draws a 1, so for 3 damage. We'll place 3 damage onto the Hulk. Draws his encounter card, which is Panic in the Streets. Treat the printed text box of each location support and each persona support as if it were blank, except for traits. So a location support we have is Stark Tower. And do we have any personas? We would normally have Pepper Potts out, but we don't have Pepper Potts, so we place 5 threat on Panic in the Streets. Okay. And that's our encounter card, so let's see. We do need to get rid of that. So I tell you what, here's what we'll do. With Hulk, we're going to exhaust Hulk. He's going to remove 3 off of the city streets. Yep. We'll go aerial. Aerial with our rocket boots. So our Mark IV helmet will remove, well, let's see. We'll remove 1 threat off of Panic in the Streets. So that'll go down to 4. Right? And then the Dirt Trap gets 1 removed. When defeated, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets. So we place 1 on there, discard a card, electric whip attack, and then it says resolve it again. So we place another 1 on there and discard 2 more cards. So we discard Now or Never, and we discard Caught Off Guard. So Dirt Trap's gone. The Mark helmet has been used. The gauntlets, so we'll deal 2 damage to Sandman since we have the aerial trait. So he'll go down to 2. We're going to remove 2 threat from Panic in the Streets using Iron Man. We'll exhaust his arc reactor to remove 2 more damage, or to ready Iron Man and to remove 2 more damage from Panic in the Streets. We'll spend 2 resources, melee, yeah. We'll spend our 2 melee. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll spend 2 melee to put out the hand cannon. It comes into play with 3 charge counters on it. It's also a tech weapon. So when your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust hand cannon, remove 1 charge counter from it, and your hero gets +2 attack for that attack, and that attack gains overkill. So we use both our melees for that. And then with our repulsor blast, do we want to try to hit Sandman with the repulsor blast. I think I will. It'll cause him to flip, though. That may up his attack, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll use the repulsor blast. So we're going to deal 1 damage to an enemy. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discard this way, deal 2 additional damage to that enemy. So we draw repulsor blast, pepper pots, dive bomb, assess the situation. We draw no energy cards. So all we do is 1 damage with Sandman for all those cards. It's probably a bad idea. But we'll go ahead and ready everything. Power gauntlets, our rocket boots, the Hulk is readied. War Machine. I guess we could hit with War Machine, but that'd knock War Machine out. Ready Ingenuity. And we'll just leave Machine Man in play as well. So we'll draw up our hand size now of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So we draw the Power in All of Us, Snow Guard, Rocket Boots, Hand Cannon, Hone Technique, and Repulsor Blast. Excellent. Okay, placing 1 threat on hapless pedestrians. Sandman is going to attack Iron Man. And we draw a card. So it's a 0. So we do 2 damage. So we'll place damage onto Hulk. And we'll put a damage on War Machine, which will knock War Machine out. But we don't do the Surging Sands, because Iron Man did not take any damage. So War Machine jumped in the way of that, and we'll draw our encounter card, which is an electric whip attack. When revealed, choose to either deal 1 damage to your hero for each upgrade you control, or choose and discard an upgrade you control. Yeah, those are an upgrade I want to get rid of. I guess I could get rid of the rocket boots. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll get rid of the rocket boots. We've got another one in our hand that we can put down. Yep, I think we'll do that. All right. My turn. So we will exhaust Hulk to take the counters off the city streets here. All right. And I think we'll put Snow Guard out. We'll put the rocket boots out. Rocket boots out for 1. We'll use Hone Technique to put them out. And how about we spend 4 resources. 1, 2, 3. And we won't spend that one. We'll spend these 4 here. Yeah, we'll spend the Ingenuity. Yep, we'll do that. Spend Ingenuity and the Power in All of Us and the Hand Cannon to put out the Snow Guard. We'll hang on to Repulsor Blast. Is that going to do us any good to hang on to Repulsor Blast? Probably not. So we'll just spend those 4. Repulsor Blast, Hand Cannon, the Power in All of Us. So Snow Guard is going to come out, and we're going to do the threat removal option with Snow Guard. So Snow Guard is going to exhaust to remove 3 threat off of hapless pedestrians. Does the damage to Snow Guard. Let's see. The helmet will remove. Yeah, we'll remove 1 threat with the helmet. Iron Man is going to attack Sandman for 1. So Sandman is knocked out. Second Sandman comes out. It says, when revealed, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets. Sandblast, force interrupt when Sandman attacks you. That attack deals indirect damage. If your identity takes any amount of damage from the attack, resolve Surging Sands ability on city streets. So we place 1 counter on city streets. And we discard the top card of our encounter deck, which is a common criminal. We'll ready the arc reactor to ready Iron Man. We've got to put Sandman all the way back up to 18. We'll exhaust Ingenuity to give us Aerial. So the Powered Gauntlets is going to attack for 2. So it knocks Sandman down to 16. Iron Man's going to take 2 threat off of Hapless Pedestrians. I'm going to, let's see, Hulk, Machine Man. Yeah, Machine Man, I think he will. We'll leave Machine Man out for now. Hone Technique, Hand Cannon. Yeah, we'll flip over to our Tony Stark side. We'll draw 3 cards, which is Powered Gauntlets, Energy, and Moon Girl. We'll hang on to Energy. Yeah, we'll hang on to Energy. Then we'll exhaust Machine Man to do 3 damage to Sandman. Sandman will take 3, and Machine Man... Whoop, you know what? I decked myself there. I decked myself when I did that. When I picked up those 3 cards, I decked myself, so I needed to deal myself an encounter card and shuffle my deck. So that might change what I want to do with Machine Man there. I might want to hang on to a different card instead, which I think I might. Okay. So we'll hang on to Machine Man for a moment. We'll put those 2 damage back on him. And instead of hanging on to that energy, do I want to hang on to the energy? Or do I want to spin the energy? Or do I want to hang on to the Powered Gauntlets? Because whatever cards, these are going to go in the discard pile. They won't come back. How about I'll hang on to the energy. And I'll just hang on to it for the next round. So then we'll draw our hand size of 6. We're back in alter ego form. Ready everything. The Mark helmet. Yeah, we'll do that. And then draw our cards. Leprechauns. Rocket Boots. Ingenuity. Strength. And the power in all of us. 1 threat onto Hapless Pedestrians. Sandman is going to scheme for 1. Plus 1 is 2. For a total of 3. We deal ourselves an encounter card. When we did that, that cleared our deck. So Hapless Pedestrians triggers. It says after an acceleration token is placed on the scheme, deal 3 indirect damage to the first player. So acceleration token hits. 3 indirect damage comes out. And do we put it on Tony Stark? we could. Yeah, I think we'll do it to Tony Stark. So 3 indirect damage, 3 down to 7. And then we'll deal our encounter cards. So the first one is a sand clone. X is equal to the number of sand counters on city streets. When defeated, resolve the Surging Sands ability on the city streets. So, have a sand clown on the table. So he has one attack right now. And then we have another one. Another sand clone comes out. So there's 2. We'll shuffle our encounter deck. And that will end Sandman's turn. It would be nice to be able to pull off about 16 damage right now. Let's see, I could do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. None with her. I'll look and see what I got in my hand. We might be able to finish off Sandman this round. Let's see what happens. Pepper Pots, Rocket Boots, we don't have it. So let's take our Tony Stark and we'll draw 3 cards. We've got Fusillade, we got Melee, and we've got the Power in All of Us. I think we'll hang on to that Fusillade card. That might come in extremely handy. Yeah, I believe so. Nice thing about that is we can flip over to our Iron Man side. We'll use Ingenuity to make Iron Man aerial. That allows us to do 2 damage with our powered gauntlets onto Sandman. Takes him down to 14. Yep. Fusillade. Spend 2 resources. We're going to use our honed technique to use Fusillade. Exhaust a weapon upgrade you control. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. And because we have our, we use our hand cannon to do that. So 5 plus 2 is 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Machine Man is going to attack for 3. Plus 1 is 4 damage. And Machine Man's defeated. But that puts 4 damage onto Sandman. 2, 3, 4. So he's down to 3. And then Hulk is going to take one final swing at Sandman. Oh, and that knocks Sandman all the way down to 0. So Sandman has been defeated on this hot day. See you, Sandman. 0 health left. So Iron Man was victorious in my casual game today of Marvel Champions. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. And I'd like to thank you for watching the video today. If you would like, you could subscribe to my channel to see future videos as they come available. And if you like my videos, why not share a like? So thanks for watching today, and I hope to bring you another video again very soon.